All right, let's take a look at some fractions. So our first question was just adding fractions. And so something like this, we just need to be familiar with common denominator, right? So this 3 is a denominator, this 8 is a denominator. And so we need to make the denominator, that number on the bottom, the same for both of these. Okay, so what we're going to do is multiply the 3 times 8 down here. We're going to do that 1 times 8. We're going to do this 1 times 3. Right, so if we do that, 3 times 8 is 24, and so is 8 times 3. So we're going to have 24 on the bottom. Okay, so now, so rather than 2/3, we're going to go, and whatever we do to the denominator, we have to do to the numerator. So whatever we do to the bottom, we got to do to the top. So we just said, right, there's going to be 24 on the bottom on each, right? We got that. Okay, so because this we did times 8, we're going to have to go 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, and then because on this one we went 8, we're going to go 8 times 3 right here to make 24. Up here we're going to do exactly the same thing on the top and on the bottom. 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, now when the denominators are the same, we just kind of carry it over here and keep it at 24. Okay, that's why we did all that work. And then 16 plus 15 is 31. And there's our answer. So that's what we need to do when we're adding fractions, is figure out what that common denominator is. Do that, and whatever you do to the denominator, do to the numerator. Whatever you do to the bottom, do to the top. And you add the numerators together, and then you're done. And you get the right answer. So that's adding fractions. Sorry, his eraser's kind of slow. All right. What other kind of fractions questions do we have? Let me take a look here. Once I'm all erased up here. Okay. There's that. Get my pen back. Okay. Mixed and improper fractions. So you can get this too, right? Where you'll get something like this. 5 7/8. Okay. And so that's called a mixed fraction right now, right? When there's like a number and then a fraction, like a whole number and then a fraction next to it, like this, that'll be considered mixed. And improper is where the number on the top for the numerator is bigger than the number on the bottom. Okay, so pretty simple here, really. So all we do is we go this whole number times the number in the denominator. So this whole number times the denominator, which in this case is 8, plus the number in the numerator, which in this case would be 7. Okay, so that's all going to be in the top, so it's going to be 5 times 8 plus 7. So it's really pretty simple arithmetic all over, and we leave the 8 down there. It's just a question of knowing what to do, right? So it's 5 times 8 plus this thing. Okay, 5 times 8 is 40. 40 plus 7 is 47. All over, we keep that number the same. There we go. That's our final answer. Okay, and so we can do one more. Maybe I can get a better eraser. Oh, this is much better. Okay, so we'll do one more of those just to make sure you got it. So let's make up a different one. What if it was 3 3/5? And so, like, this is true for all the videos, but maybe even a little bit more so with the math ones. You know, when you just watch me do it or somebody else who knows how to do it, it looks simple, you know, but a lot of times there is some value if, so like right now, hitting the pause button and seeing if you could get this answer yourself, right? And then go back and play it and make sure you did it right. You get a lot more value, even if it's more frustrating and perhaps humbling if you get it wrong. But the actual learning process is much better. score on the exam much better. Okay, so we start with this number right here, right? And we multiply it by the denominator. So 3 times 5, right? We see 5 in the denominator down there at the bottom, plus the number on the top. We call that the numerator, plus 3, all over the bottom number, the denominator, 5. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18, all over that number on the denominator stays there, 5, 18/5. Okay, so that's turning a mixed fraction into an improper fraction. And if that still seems confusing at all, mostly we just want to make sure we have the process down, right? That you take the big number, multiply it by the denominator, add that number to the numerator, and then you're good to go. And then you need to practice it a little bit. Okay, that's what the app is for. Lots of practice questions. And then finally, dividing fractions. Okay, so a lot of math is really just knowing the rules, like what are you supposed to do, much more so than like, being really good at math, like you can just calculate things in your head real fast or something. Like that isn't as important. Okay, so we have 2/5 divided by 7/3. So when you're dividing two fractions like this, you take this second fraction and flip it, right? So what that means is, and then you multiply the two numbers, right? So we still have 2/5 over here, pulling that one down from the left, and then we turn it into multiplication, and we flip it. So the 3 is in the denominator. Again, that's the bottom number. Denominator is the bottom number of a fraction. And the numerator is 7. That's the top number. Now becomes the denominator. Okay, and then it's just multiply them out. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 7 is 35. We're done. That's all you got to do. Maybe we should do one more, right? Sometimes seeing it twice can be useful. So again, that's what we do. We flip that second fraction and then multiply. Okay, so let's go 1/4 divided by 1/3. Okay, so 1/4 stays the same, right? We don't do anything with the fraction on the left. Now we're going to be multiplying, and this 1/3 here, we're just going to flip it, right? So the 3 was on the bottom, now it's on the top. The 1 was on the top, now it's on the bottom. And then we just multiply it out. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. We're done. It's that simple. Okay, so sometimes these can look confusing because if you're trying to think out how many thirds are in a fourth or something, forget about that. Your main thing is just remember, flip that second fraction and multiply. You're good to go.